Another day, another story. Section 3 of Criminal Procedure Code. Construction of references. 1. In this code, any reference, without any qualifying words, to a magistrate, shall be construed, unless the context otherwise requires, I, in relation to an area outside the metropolitan area, as a reference to a judicial magistrate, E, in relation to a metropolitan area, as a reference to a metropolitan magistrate. B. Any reference to a magistrate of the second class shall, in relation to an area outside the metropolitan area, be construed as a reference to a judicial magistrate of the second class, and, in relation to a metropolitan area, as a reference to a metropolitan magistrate. C. Any reference to a magistrate of the first class shall, I, in relation to a metropolitan area, be construed as a reference to a metropolitan magistrate exercising jurisdiction in that area. E. In relation to any other area, be construed as a reference to a judicial magistrate of the first class exercising jurisdiction in that area. D. Any reference to the Chief Judicial Magistrate shall, in relation to a metropolitan area, be construed as a reference to the Chief Metropolitan Magistrate exercising jurisdiction in that area. 2. In this code, unless the context otherwise requires, any reference to the court of a judicial magistrate shall, in relation to a metropolitan area, be construed as a reference to the court of the metropolitan magistrate for that area. 3. Unless the context otherwise requires, any reference in any enactment passed before the commencement of this code, to a magistrate of the first class, shall be construed as a reference to a judicial magistrate of the first class. B. To a magistrate of the second class or of the third class, shall be construed as a reference to a judicial magistrate of the second class. C. To a presidency magistrate or chief presidency magistrate, shall be construed as a reference, respectively, to a metropolitan magistrate or the chief metropolitan magistrate. D. To any area which is included in a metropolitan area, as a reference to such metropolitan area, and any reference to a magistrate of the first class or of the second class in relation to such area, shall be construed as a reference to the metropolitan magistrate exercising jurisdiction in such area. 4. Where, under any law, other than this code, the function exercisable by a magistrate relate to matters, which involve the appreciation or sifting of evidence or the formulation of any decision which exposes any person to any punishment or penalty or detention in custody pending investigation, inquiry or trial or would have the effect of sending him for trial before any court, they shall, subject to the provisions of this code, be exercisable by a judicial magistrate, or B. Which are administrative or executive in nature, such as, the granting of a license, the suspension or cancellation of a license, sanctioning a prosecution or withdrawing from a prosecution, they shall, subject as aforesaid, be exercisable by an executive magistrate. Section of Criminal Procedure Code. Trial of offences under the Indian Penal Code and other laws. 1. All offences under the Indian Penal Code, 45 of 1860, shall be investigated, inquired into, tried, and otherwise dealt with according to the provisions hereinafter contained. 2. All offences under any other law shall be investigated, inquired into, tried, and otherwise dealt with according to the same provisions, but subject to any enactment for the time being in force regulating the manner of place of investigating, inquiring into, trying or otherwise dealing with such offences. Section 5 of Criminal Procedure Code. Saving. Nothing contained in this code shall, in the absence of a specific provision to the contrary, affect any special or local law for the time being in force, or any special jurisdiction or power conferred, or any special form of procedure prescribed, by any other law for the time being in force. The Criminal Procedure Code, CRPC, of India is a central legislation that lays down the procedures to be followed by the criminal justice system in India. It sets out the rights of individuals accused of crimes, the powers of the police, and the rules for the investigation and prosecution of offences. The CRPC governs the entire criminal justice system, from the investigation of a crime to the final judgment of a court. It is applicable to all states in India and plays a crucial role in maintaining the rule of law and protecting the rights of individuals. Thanks for watching.